Hey everyone, staying here from 8-Bit Digi, and welcome to the second episode of the live review. A live review of a game because I'm kind of getting tired of video editing and kind of need a break for a little bit. So I just want to sit back and play some games while talking about it with you, the viewer. So for the second live review, I'm going to talk about Far Cry 5 Hour of Darkness. That was the DLC for Far Cry 5 set during the Vietnam War, which is why I'm dressed the way I'm dressed. Got this awesome vest. I want to first start with the cowboy hat. It's just a cowboy hat. I bought this a while back in Manitou Springs in Colorado as a joke. I was with my friend, we had a few beer. Yeah, it's one of those stories that started out with what hold my beer, only it didn't end. The only thing stupid that happened was I bought this cowboy hat, which, looking back now, it's not a stupid idea because it's a sweet cowboy hat. I just don't wear it that much, however, because I live in California, so a guy walking around California with a cowboy hat, that just doesn't look right, or it's out of place. Now, if I was in Texas or Kentucky, this hat would feel normal, but I don't live there. I live here in the Bay Area. You can wear all sorts of hats you want, but a cowboy hat just feels out of place. Alright. Meanwhile, as for this vest, well, this is an authentic flak vest used during the Vietnam era. I picked it up on eBay for $100. So now you're wondering, why would I spend $100 on or why would I even buy something like this? Well, the first answer is why not? I mean, look how awesome it is. Second, is actually part of my Chris Redfield cosplay. Let me put up a quick photo right here. Can't find the photo, but it's there. Don't worry. If you go on my personal Facebook page or Instagram at Stan Rizai, you'll find it. I'm wearing the Chris Redfield vest. Alright. So, quick history about Vietnam games. We all love war games, but when it comes to the Vietnam War, these games are very rare, hard to come by. I guess it's because video games, they took their cue from Hollywood, and the Vietnam War movies about the Vietnam War are always anti, so you can't really make a feel-good video game. Just want to give this a go. Couldn't really make a feel-good video game based on the Vietnam War without it being an anti-war, which doesn't really work out. Kind of like for a while we've never really seen a good World War I game because it's been mostly associated with being anti-war because of how horrific it was. It's not exactly a clear good guy versus bad guy like World War II. But unlike World War I, I want to say like 2004, 2005, there was a sudden jump in popularity in jungle warfare games, especially those set in the Vietnam War after the success of Vietcong. This was a squad-based shooter similar to Rainbow Six, and for a short while there was this huge crave of wanting to go into the jungle or Vietnam in general. Among the most besides Vietcong, among the best games that came out of this era was, of course, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which is also set in the jungle. But before that, there wasn't really that many good jungle warfare games. Before Vietcong, the only good one I remember would be just the jungle level in GoldenEye 007. and that kind of sort of became the template for most jungle games, which unfortunately at the time the hardware couldn't really allow what we have today, which is what we're seeing in this game. This is like the ideal jungle environment a Vietnam War game should have. Oh, I'm just walking mindlessly actually at this point as I'm talking to you, but I guess I just get lost in my own story sometime. Where's my trusty water bottle? Ah, here it is.
They're right there! You got lucky this time.
So yeah, these games came and went, and which is a shame. And after that, I think the only other game set in the Vietnam War that I could remember would be Call of Duty Black Ops, and those were short parts of the game and didn't really capture that authentic environment, except for maybe the Battle of Khe Sanh. So anyhow, here is Far Cry 5 Hours of Darkness. So, as with my previous review, if the control looks funky or hard to handle, it's my controller, not the game. I try to use one of those little spray cans to undust underneath the D-pad. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked. I may have to unscrew everything and just replace some parts. Well, of course, I gotta save that for another time.
We will kill your friends if you do not surrender. This is your final warning. American GI, we know who you are. For you, we are in control, and you will be caught. Your friends can't save you. We have them all. America has no future in Vietnam. We will beat you. American GI, you will not get out of the jungle alive. No one is coming for you.
So, on a separate note, if you live in the Bay Area and you really want to learn a lot about the Vietnam War, I suggest going to the A. Robert D. Hart Library at Dean's College. There's the second floor. It has the second largest collection of Vietnam memorabilia outside the Smithsonian. Among the highlights of their collection is one of the copies of the letter Ho Chi Minh sent to President Harry S. Truman to officially recognize his government after World War II. Of course, Truman did not recognize the government due to its communist leanings and decided to back France's attempt to reclaim the colony, the region. Only, of course, we all know what happened. The French were humiliated. America then tried to step in. We had the North and South divide, and then that led, of course, to the whole Vietnam War. That led to one thing that eventually became the Vietnam War. Now, they've actually hosted several events back when I was going there for college, including one where they brought some veterans from the war from both sides. Now, this is actually pretty interesting. I heard when talking to these veterans from North Vietnamese fighters, Vietcong fighters, is that they're often surprised by our movies about the war. Not the fact that it's anti-war, but the fact that they are depicted as these mythical jungle warriors who were able to defeat the mighty American army. Because we portray them as these shadow warriors, one who is with the land and having just a simple AK-47, when the average Vietcong was probably using a Mauser bolt-action rifle at the time, or a Tokarev handgun. The AKs would go to mostly go to fighters in certain regions or to the North Vietnamese army. Another interesting thing about the Vietnam War is that it was not just America and South Vietnam against North Vietnam and the Vietcong. It was actually, it was kind of like a major regional conflict in which you had the anti-communist force coalition, mostly made up of the South Vietnamese army, followed by the U.S. Army, and then support from South Vietnam, Australia, New Zealand, who both had experience fighting in the Malaysian emergency, along with the Philippines Army, which had a lot of experience in fighting in a similar environment and fighting against communist guerrillas. Whereas the communist factions, besides the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese Army, had financial support from, of course, Russia and China, along with military support coming in from North Korea and other guerrilla communist insurgencies in the region from around Cambodia, Cambodia and Laos. Oh no, I just died. Well, hopefully my. I do apologize. Also forgot to mention, you also had Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos, and that the Kingdom of Laos, and that anti-communist coalition, which of course didn't for the latter two did not, or for Cambodia and Laos didn't end too well because their governments eventually got toppled by communist insurgencies. So it was one big war, and most people only know just parts of the story. Sorry, I'm a huge student of history. Well, I didn't take much history class. I just read what's on Wikipedia. Okay, like originally the main Far Cry 5 game, trying to like hold on to dear life while my partner tries to revitalize me, but I don't know where he is way too far. I should probably focus more on my game than tell you all stories. Okay, well, let me just point out one thing about this vest. It gets super hot in this. Again, this is real. Feel that. It is heavy. Of course, it's also strong, but not bulletproof. So I gotta tell people, don't punch me, because it's not gonna block it or protect me. I'm gonna feel that pain. Oh, forget about it. We'll just die. Okay.
I know what these assholes do too.
So here's the premise of the game so far. Your squad gets shot down over the jungle in Vietnam. You need to regroup with them while trying to make it to the extraction point. It's a very straightforward, simple game. Most of you, if you played a lot of Far Cry 5 like me, it's not gonna be hard to get familiar with the controls. Everything's gonna come to you naturally. But what I really liked about the game is just the Vietnam setting, because it's been a long time. I think the closest to a true experience of what it was like to be in the Vietnam War would have been, besides Vietcong, Battlefield Vietnam, which came out around the same time, and just only the Caisson level in Call of Duty Black Ops. However, I should point out that Black Ops did have a lot of weapons and vehicles that were were not available during that era, which kind of hurts its inaccuracy. But again, it's supposed to be a cheesy action game, so I give it a pass. Now, in terms of weapon, a lot of it is what you would find in Far Cry 5 main game, except for the M16A1. That is, of course, is a reskin of the AR-15 style rifle they have in the game. And most of the weapons you can reskin to look more authentic to the era, but they're all from the same weapon from Far Cry 5 main game. One thing that's been kind of annoying me is that the AK is not that powerful looking, or any weapon isn't really that powerful against animals, and you just gotta shoot them so many times that they just become bullet sponges. Okay, well, it looks like we found a camp. Well, it looks like we might have another fellow's.
Tiếng động đó có vẻ chẳng lành.
Oh, here's something interesting. Oops.
Firebase Echo, Python 2-5, Allied prisoner released.
See them right there!
Hold on a second. Gotta check on something. Alright. Sorry about that. expansions. Ah, Vietcong. You see, this is something I actually like over the main Far Cry game, is that you don't know the enemies could appear out of anywhere, and even if you liberate locations, it doesn't really matter, because they're going to be, just like the actual war, they're going to be everywhere.
Thought that was game over. Shit.
Sorry, I just have to check, see where I'm going.
An NVA commander has been eliminated.
Kind of with a shotgun.
Fight on?
Got lucky this time.
Well, that was a pretty cool tunnel scene right there. Oh, frankly, my friend sent me something pretty cool. Gotta check it out first. Friends and their funny videos. I don't want to forget about them. I'm done shooting, wasting bullets on animals. Let's just hide the rest of my team. Get out of here. Why did I do that? I'm an idiot, that's why. But it was cool. Whoa. Wow. Did not see that one coming. So, here's my overall review. Everything I like about Far Cry 5 is in this game. Everything I didn't like about Far Cry 5 is not in this DLC, which means I feel that this DLC is far, in terms of story and environment, is far better than the main game. Not to say that the main game was I mean, it had its problems, but it was still a pretty good game. But I felt this is like surpassed that, and I hope Ubisoft uses this as a foundation to make a new franchise set in the Vietnam War, maybe one that's semi-open world, but at least gives you a chance to explore other parts of the conflict, or at least parts of the, or make levels that were inspired by regions of Vietnam during that era. So overall, I would give Far Cry 5 Hours of Darkness a solid 9 out of 10. If you have Far Cry 5, either get the Season Pass, or I bought the Season Pass, but if you could buy them separately, I would highly recommend buying Hours of Darkness. Especially if you're a fan of military shooters, you're going to enjoy this. You know what, let's do some last minute mayhem and then I'll call it quits, okay?
Thought that was game over. Shit.
Hữu với, nhanh lên, không nhiều thời gian đâu.
Thanks. This is for you.
Firebase Echo, Python 2-5. Allied prisoner released.
Well, we just rescued another POW. I guess it's time to call it quits. Have a good night, and catch you next time on the live show, or the live review. Well, this is why it's live. It's all unedited. So if I say, oh, something like, poopy sticks, it's not gonna get cut out. So anyhow, y'all enjoy your weekend. Catch you next Friday or Saturday, depends on when I'm available to stream. Check out 8-Bit Digi for the latest gaming news. Subscribe to this channel. See the latest videos. Yeah, that's about it. You know, the basic YouTube stuff or Twitch stuff you're supposed to say. Anyhow, have a good night.